Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone and Rovi, and today we wanted to talk about all that negative sentiment that's happening, and we're either going against it or we're piling in. Which one?
I think we try our hardest to go against, keep the hopium alive, but it's becoming overwhelming at this point. Yeah, might as well pile into the cesspool of like sadness and despair.
Yeah.
For what reason? I mean, I think it's like a therapeutic in a way,
and it presents an opportunity.
Well, okay, that's going to be like the later takeaway. But like before you can get to that conclusion, you still have to have like self-awareness.
Yeah,
or just this broad awareness of what's happening around the world, what's happening within the markets you're trying to exploit for your own personal gains and benefits, right?
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you have to have a deep understanding of where we are in the market. So
yeah,
of course we all know Bitcoin is like looming, which is funny to say. It's like, oh, it's around 20K. Everyone's like super sad about it.
Yeah.
But if you go back a few years, like 20K was like the euphoric top. Yeah. Right. But
now it's like the despair low.
Dude, yeah. It's like a borderline neck zone for a lot of people. Right. So why? So what's going on, in the world to drive this sentiment, to this level?
Now they're the big gorilla in the cage here, the United States, is starting to generate more inflation.
Okay.
And causing more, I guess, negative sentiment on the markets. I mean, the outside markets, outside of the cryptocurrency, they're all going down as well.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we just saw that Coinbase's stock is down 80% from its all-time high.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that looks like a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a company based on, what's happening in the crypto space, makes sense.
Yeah, but it's still stocks.
But again, could provide a juicy opportunity if you still believe in the long-term, trajectory of this whole innovative new technology. But nonetheless.
But you know what? We say it presents an opportunity, but I feel like there's new things happening outside of the crypto space that will lead to like new lows.
Whoa, dude. So you're more bearish than I am, it sounds like, potentially.
Maybe.
Usually you kind of like to bypass, what's going on the macro side.
Yeah.
Because, Bitcoin has this mathematical rhythm to it or whatever. It's algorithmically programmed to execute these certain economic, what's the words I'm looking for?
Milestones.
Something like that, right? Yeah. It's a programmed like incentive mechanism just to keep the show running at like a very predictable pace, right? So it really it shouldn't be,
And it really hasn't crossed those bounds where it has created like a discrepancy between the actual predictions and like it's still within range.
Yeah, agreed.
Right?
But what you're saying is now, because Bitcoin has never really been tested.
Exactly.
Like with these external factors beyond just like the mathematical predictability of it, right?
Yeah, so it hasn't been tested on a recession. And then what we're talking about really is the potential of a depression.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, let's pile on to this FUD fest, right? Like, what's going on? Clearly, we're in a recession, I guess. A year or so ago, we were speculating one was looming. At some point, the world's going to catch on to this. Inflation's going to kick up. All these things are in our face at this point, right?
There was also, just to go back a little bit, there was discussions. I mean, we had the discussion. There was others having the same discussion of the elongation of cycles for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so when it reached like 69,000 or whatever it was in November, December of last year, there was speculation that it would continue to go up beyond the confines of the 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
Right? And so it didn't. It still kept the 4-year cycle ranges and
failed to meet expectations, I guess.
Right.
Which is, I don't know, I mean.
So I guess, what does that mean?
Well, we've already talked about it. It's just you definitely don't want to rely on these models too heavily.
For sure.
Because I think a lot of people got mega burned. But
hold on. So I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right, because people were predicting 100K. We were talking
100K
about
plus,
it. But here's
as
the thing.
High as 300K potentially, just because of the bounds of these predictive models, right?
Right. But if you were to honor the 4-year cycle, you would have exited at a $69,000 Bitcoin because, hey, it's December 2021. This is it.
Then you can't put that out there then, because then the next time around it's like, dude, you better exit.
Yeah,
But what if the elongation happens then? It's like,
that's right.
it's just an important, like, I guess, life lesson that, and you only learn these things through like brutal pain of like experiencing the potential downside and like the actual unpredictability of like asset markets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it can kick your ass. Like it totally, you know.
So hedging is the strategy in all cases.
Yeah, taking profits on the way up, and then of course like dollar cost averaging in on the way down. It's like it's a fail-proof strategy, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Like, just don't get too over greedy and stuff like that in these types of you know, dual-sided markets. You know?
Yeah, but if you're not disciplined, it's a very hard thing to do.
That really is.
Because when you're in the thick of things and it's today and it's $69,000 Bitcoin, you're like, it's probably going to go up tomorrow.
And everybody's telling you it is.
Yeah.
And like all the headlines of talking about like, you know, freaking Elon Musk is like loading up a Tesla SpaceX rocket full of Bitcoins, sending them to Mars, stuff like this, right? Like euphoria.
Yeah.
It's present, and it has a warp effect on everybody's mind. Even if you're like knowledgeable, like this stuff is supposed to happen, it still fucks with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the input that you're receiving from like Twitter and everything. Yeah, it's like everything's great. Yeah. So why would you push the sell button, right?
Well, see, that's the discipline you're talking about. You gotta have a strategy in mind beforehand and like stick to it.
Yeah.
And no product marketing here. So let me change this. Yeah, dude. So so here we are. We're in a confirmed bear market. If you could look at these Google Trend indicators. So we used to do this commonly.
Yeah.
Throughout our whole history as like, you know, the block runner. We used to always refer to Google Trends. We're not the only ones who do this, but it seems to be a pretty good model to look at, like as far as like, you know, what's the sentiment of the market.
Yeah. And so I wanted to do this on this chat. And so here's cryptocurrency. And clearly 2012, 2010, you know, nothing, right?
Nothing.
It's not even a thing.
Yeah, dude.
Right. And then here comes $20,000 Bitcoin. Everyone's searching for it.
That was one hell of a mania for sure.
Yeah. Everyone was searching
dude, freaking, what's her name? Katy Perry had like crypto nails and stuff like that. It was like biggest news on World Star Hip Hop. Like
Akon was shilling tokens.
Yeah, token mania was legit in 2017. I remember those days.
And then it quickly dropped off as soon as
very quickly.
Yeah, 1 month later. Like,
and then you start to hear, you know, crypto was a scam after all.
BitConnect.
Yeah. Government's going to ban everything eventually anyway, so don't put your money into this obvious scam. So this is why we have an elongated period of, we can call it a depression or a crypto winter is what we like to call it, right?
Yeah, we start the podcast here in the
middle,
Great
I'd say.
Despair.
Right in the middle of like the winter despair phase. So, dude, and this is a realization for us and everybody. So we're on to a new entry point to a new winterish phase, most likely.
Yeah.
If we're going by, you know, sentiment evidence. So what does that mean? It's going to be potentially 6 to 12. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, seems to think potentially 18 months of despair.
Which is within range.
Yeah.
I think it's still within range of like, this is 18 months here. Like, that's 18 months.
Yeah. So this dictates a lot of our behaviors, right? Like in full knowledge of what's ahead, at least in the short term, right? We're in a slump. And then like you're saying, there's a lot of external factors in the macroeconomic side that's going to potentially make the slump even more severe or elongated. Who knows? We don't, again, like you said, we've never seen Bitcoin react to an actual economic slump.
Yeah. And then cryptocurrency search, when it hit like $50,000 wasn't as high as it was when it was $20,000. I thought that was interesting. And then it hit 69K in November.
Well, I guess because there's and
it was half as many searches.
Yeah, somehow the price went above, but the attention was lapsed by the previous cycle.
This would have been interesting watching this in real time. I was like, oh, look, all-time high, but like half as many people were searching for it.
We would have got fucked by this because we would have, I think the right thing to assume would be, oh, we haven't even like passed the last cycle's like sentiment or like demand for attention, right? So that means we're nowhere close to the top.
Right.
That's most likely, and that probably fueled into why so many people got, you know, burnt this cycle because people were expecting it to just completely warp whatever happened before. Like that sentiment peak of 2017 should look like a little blip.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Maybe this was like the first time so many people heard about Bitcoin. It was like, well, what is this thing? Why is everybody talking about it now?
And I guess this time around, it's like, oh, that thing again.
I
don't need to look it up. And then plus there's other things that were of interest, right?
So now we're gonna add. Okay, let's see what Bitcoin was doing at the exact same time.
And if you don't know what this is, this is what when people search on Google and they type in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, the actual word, into a search engine.
Yeah.
These are the results of that.
Yep.
These lines.
And so in 2017, Bitcoin did 5 times as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give it 5 times as much
than cryptocurrency,
than
right?
cryptocurrency itself.
Yeah, so this is the Bitcoin like popping. Like Bitcoin has become a part of everybody's awareness at pretty much everybody on earth. If you have access to, I don't know, social media or something like that, you're aware that Bitcoin exists because of 2017.
All right, so and the same thing happened. A lot of people searched Bitcoin a lot less. Same thing as cryptocurrency. All right, so let's add Ethereum. And now things get interesting here.
Yeah.
So let me kind of zoom in here. All right, Ethereum was a baby back in 2017, right? So it got some attention.
Yeah, a little bit.
But not as much as everything else, or Bitcoin at least.
So that's yellow. I think that says 9 there.
That says 9. Yeah, that's
in comparison to 12 and 100. So yeah, I mean it was noticeable. People were becoming aware of Ethereum. Ethereum was like the big enabler of the ICO boom back then. So I mean it deserved the attention it got. But yeah,
a lot of millionaires were made in this like peak right here.
Absolutely,
a lot.
Yeah,
way more than Bitcoin at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's interesting is that Ethereum actually broke way higher than its previous all-time high in searches.
Yep.
And that was when it was like at almost near $5,000.
Yeah. I think so Ethereum is starting to spill into again the mainstream zeitgeist as well. Not so much as Bitcoin. I mean maybe because it's more complicated to understand, so
yeah.
It's
way more complicated.
Yeah, it's just less I don't know.
And then this final thing is
also because it's newer, like you said,
NFTs. So that was the big thing this last cycle.
That was the big thing.
And clearly NFTs practically didn't exist up until, I guess, March of 2021. That was when Top Shots
and
was taking off.
Beeple and all that stuff.
That's
like
right.
The NFT craze. So there's a little pop there.
Yeah. It's
like, but it wasn't until like the end of the cycle. Like
this is PFP mania right here.
PFP mania, Bored Apes. And everybody's aware. I hear commercials all the time from like
Nike.
No, like retirement fund portfolio management companies talking about they're giving out or they're asking for they're providing courses on cryptocurrencies and Bored Apes. Like they're equating Bored Apes with like cryptocurrency just because these marketers know like everybody has heard of the Bored Ape.
Yeah.
And they want to know it's like what is that and how do I make money with it and how do I get the next one?
Yeah, right, only costs $100K, right, to get one.
Yeah. So, but also, But anyways, something in common with all of them is like they're pretty much all in like a downward spiral.
Yeah. Right? And what's interesting is that NFT searches almost matched Bitcoin searches at the exact same time.
Yeah. So there was almost flipping.
Yeah, almost. That's the only time like Bitcoin was challenged.
Yeah.
It was ever challenged was the closest challenge was NFTs ever.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. We always knew this was what's going to happen. Like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, just not very appealing or sexy or just it's very boring as far as like something that, the masses should be concerned about. It's just digital money. Most people aren't even concerned about what real money is, like what that entails, right? They just want to know, can I get some of that? Can I buy some stuff with it? Like that's as far as I need to know, like what it is.
Yeah.
But these NFT things, like there's some interest in that because they're cool to look at. Visually stimulating, potentially audibly stimulating. Once the music NFT space really takes off, immersively stimulating once the metaverse stuff takes off. So
I think what's interesting about NFTs is the dynamics of control and ownership.
Yeah.
Like if you're making music, you don't have to go to the labels anymore. You can just pump out your own content.
But that's interesting. So yeah, okay. So what's the takeaway from all this? It's just we're in a bear market. It's fine. There's nothing surprising about this. We knew a year ago when we were in the heat of the bull, this day would come.
Yeah.
Or these days.
We even made a video that it was like this.
Eventually,
it's
going to happen, lads.
Yeah.
So prepare for it mentally, because yeah, I mean it's going to hurt, especially if you weren't prepared for it. Especially if you're like total noobs, you never really like were exposed. And yeah, there's potential even more downside from here. Like if you factor in, the fact that inflation's at an all-time high, the Chinese housing market's like about to just completely collapse, and who knows what ripple effect that's going to have on the global economy.
Yeah, I have that. China's property market is in free fall.
Yeah, so China pretty much repeated what, Wall Street did in 2008. They just over leveraged their own housing economy to the point where it's just became unsustainable. And now I think something like 60 to 70% of China's economy is like reliant on their property markets. And if that topples over, dude, that's going to be bad,
Yeah. I mean, this has been brewing for at least a couple of months now. I mean, I remember talking about this.
Yeah.
A while back.
Yeah, one of their big banks, I think, just totally defaulted or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that,
there was people. I think this might have been a separate scenario, but there was people in the streets trying to access their money at banks.
Yep.
Then they pulled out all the tanks and everything to prevent them.
Yep.
It's like,
so who knows what that's going to spill out? What's going to spill out from that, right?
See, and that trickles into the sentiment of like,
of everything.
Of everything. Where am I going to put my money if like China's having problems? We got North Korea hacks, and you got the SEC
Russia's
coming down.
At war with Ukraine.
Russia, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's not looking peachy. And that's the point. So there's no point in making predictions, even though like CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, he's out there cutting off like half of his workforce because I think he's aware like it's hard to predict. We don't know what's going to happen next because we are entering this unpredictable phase of cryptocurrencies like history, right? It was much more predictable and like in a favorable climate, but we don't know what's going to happen like during these uncertain times, right? So what's the takeaway? I mean,
so how do you prepare for something like this?
I mean, just buckle up, buckaroo. I don't know, dude. Just be tough. This is going to definitely thicken your skin if you could somehow like stay around and like still participate one way or another. Like whether it's, spend this time to actually learn a skill. if you want to, I think that's the best thing to do. If the markets are kind of dead for like a year or two or whatever, like.
I mean, you bring up a good point because you look at the markets, you look at outside of cryptocurrency, everything seems on the downslope.
Yeah.
But then you look at the other side of crypto and you look at the metaverse and everyone's predicting multi-trillion dollars in like 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at some point, all this is going to flip. Like, sentiment's going to inverse. Everyone's going to be bullish again because that's the nature of human beings, right?
Yeah.
And plus, there's just so much being built and constructed. So that's going to be our motivation because, I mean, there's not going to be much speculation videos, to be honest, on this channel. I'm thinking, like, he's like, dude, freaking 100x next week. I guarantee it. None of that, right? We never really were those kind of content guys anyways in the first place. But we did like to identify trends, and I think we killed it last cycle.
Yeah, we did.
We found all the cool shit before they really took off,
Yeah, one thing we will eventually revisit is DeFi because there's some hot stuff happening.
I could definitely feel that rebubbling.
Yeah, rebubbler.
And that was the first thing that really, like, catalyzed the previous cycle.
Right.
So I mean, it's potentially could do it again, and especially now with all this financial hoopla, like, and everybody's like, everybody's aware like the finances is a problem.
Yeah,
or becoming aware, right, because of inflation and all these things.
And with everything that's going on with Tornado Cash, I think there's going to be doubling down on like the ethos of cryptos. Like
exactly, I think this is going to really help the DeFi bros to like, generate very powerful narratives that's going to like attract new users, new participants in like a decentralized financial system.
Yeah, I'm sure like the headline is going to be like, you remember that USDC thing? We have the new stable coin that's like backed by real crypto.
Yeah, backed by like 17 algorithms.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, that's another video. We'll go through all the stable coins at one point and revisit DeFi.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah, even though, so the main takeaway is, bear market, woo is us, sad day, whatever, but there's still tons to pay attention to and to learn, expand your knowledge base in this industry, this new paradigm of blockchain, Web3, whatever.
Totally. It's the most interesting industry, I think.
Yeah. And there's never a shortage of like shit happening. So
for sure.
We'll keep covering it, lads.
All right. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with us that the
is it all over?
Yeah. Is it all over? Or are you going to continue paying attention to what's going on with like the metaverse or DeFi?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner, at MetaZone.io, and Roby AI. And we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.